Okay, have you guys ever been in a position where you've been called in to be a replacement contractor? If so, today I'm going to show you how to navigate those waters. Okay, so maybe you've been called in by an owner. They want you to come in, they defaulted a contractor went bankrupt or just never showed up again, breach of contract. They terminated his contract and removed him from the site. Now they want a replacement contractor to come in and they want a price from you. I'm going to give you a few steps that you need to know, some information, so you can protect your risk and make sure you make money on the project, because this is a very sticky situation. When you get called in as a replacement contractor, first and foremost, you need to remember that your price must reflect the risk that you're taking. The risk that you're taking is you're coming onto a project and you are to accept and inherit all of the work that the contractor performed before you got there. Now, there's a way to manage that risk, and I'm going to highlight that in a minute. But because that risk is there, and even if we do manage that risk in the contract, we still need to have a price that reflects that risk. Replacement contractors are never cheap. And if you're going to take on that risk and the potential headaches that will come from that risk, even if you're indemnified, you still need to make sure that you're making your margins and that the project is worthwhile. Remember, you owe a workmanship warranty and a material warranty to the owner at all times. Now, one of the things to remember is that owners don't necessarily, depending on how sophisticated they are and what type of projects you're actually doing, not all owners understand the warranty, especially if you're doing private work, maybe even residential work. In the commercial and the public space, they understand the difference. But less sophisticated owners are used to buying consumer electronics and appliances for the home, and they believe they got a warranty, and they think that a warranty covers everything, and it's not true. There's a workmanship warranty, and then there's a material manufacturer warranty. The manufacturer warranty comes from the manufacturer, and that's usually a 1-year manufacturer warranty. Roofing, it could be anywhere between 15 and 30 years. Mechanical equipment also could be a little bit longer. But let's just say you have a 1-year manufacturer warranty. That manufacturer warranty passes through to the owner. That has nothing to do with the workmanship warranty. So if the material is defunct and deficient in some sort of way, then that's a manufacturer issue. You pass through that warranty to the owner. The manufacturer is to replace that equipment. However, that doesn't cover the install. The workmanship warranty is if there's any negligence or issues related to the workmanship, the work that you performed or your subcontractors performed, you owe that workmanship warranty to the owner. Some states have a guideline on that, usually between 3 and 5 year workmanship warranty. Manufacturer warranty is whatever the manufacturer warranty is going to be. Now, because of that, and because that exists, also dependent upon which state you're in, that's the risk that you're inheriting when you come on a site and you're a completion contractor. Now, the way to sidestep the risk, or at least manage the risk, I should say, is that with your standard construction agreement, I typically have a rider in place. And that rider is a hold harmless agreement. It's an indemnification agreement, which completely indemnifies you, the contractor, for any issues, any negligence, any losses that are related to any of the work that was performed prior to you coming on site. Now, the interesting thing is that if systems aren't complete, remember, you own the system. So if there's an electrical system or an HVAC system or a mechanical system that you're putting in place, well, you own that system, even though portions of that system were installed by the previous contractor. And so then we get into a situation where we have to split hairs and we got to try to figure out, well, what portion of the system is defunct? Is it the workmanship portion? Okay, it's the workmanship portion. Well, what part of the workmanship? Was that a part of the scope that was performed by the original contractor? Well, then you go to the writer and then you're held harmless and you're indemnified. It's a tough thing for an owner because an owner's going to say, well, if there's a workmanship issue there, okay, you owe me a workmanship warranty. You're inheriting this work. I'm not going to pay you for that. So there's gray areas when you come in as a replacement contractor. And obviously in your contract process, you have to negotiate this. That's why I like to use a rider, because I have a standard construction agreement in place, and then my indemnification and hold harmless agreement is a rider, and then we can thin slice that, split the atom on it, and come to a negotiation. But it's always a sticking point for the owner because these gray areas do exist. And you don't want to own the work of the previous contractor, but you're going to have to. That's why it's very important. Listen to me. If you guys are taking notes, write this down. That's why whenever you are finished with a system, you must hand over a beneficial use letter to the owner stating the system is complete. You now have operation in the system. Sign off on it. It's done. Inspect it. It's done. You own it. If you don't hand over beneficial use letters as the project progresses, then you open yourself to further risk. Because what if you finished an electrical system or a mechanical system and then a project isn't done for another 2 years, that system's complete and it's just sitting there? It's an open liability for you. You want the owner to take beneficial use of that system, let them take ownership of that system, and at that point, the warranties kick in. Very important that you understand that. Many contractors do not understand this, and they just hand everything over at the end of the job. Let me give you an example for some of the residential guys who might be watching this and don't know, because the public works guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But let's say you finish a kitchen. You're not done with the project yet. Homeowners in the house using the kitchen. There's no beneficial use there. They use the kitchen, they screw something up. Before the job is over, they're going to want you to fix it. They're not going to want to pay you for it. They're not going to give you your final payment. Now you're in hot water because you didn't account for that. That wasn't a part of your estimate. That's coming right out of your pocket because you don't want to fight with the owner because they have retainage on you or they have final payment if you're getting paid on a milestone schedule, or if you got a draw schedule, they got funding from the bank. And sometimes you'll just eat it just to get your final payment. I don't do projects for practice, and I don't work for free. And I'm not going to take unnecessary losses where I don't need to take unnecessary losses. If that kitchen is done, you got a beneficial use. That is inspected. It is done. It is complete. It's fully operational. It's been tested. You own it. That's when the warranties start kicking in. If anything happens and it's manufacturer related, you're going to pay me to install that piece of equipment that is defunct. If there's a workmanship issue and you can prove that it's a workmanship issue, then I owe it. Otherwise, you own this piece of equipment, you own this system, or in this example, you own this kitchen. I'm on to the next thing, protecting my risk. Remember, the root word of contractor is contract, and it's all about protecting risk and liability and your insurances, and all of that is what can make or break a contractor. So if you're a replacement contractor coming in to save the day, your price better reflect the risk that you're taking, and you need to have a hold harmless agreement in place as a rider to your contract agreement. If you understand what I'm saying and you implement this, you will be protecting your risk like a professional. But again, like I said, the gray area and where it gets sticky here is when the system isn't turned over and you have to finish work that's related to that system, and then you hand that system over to the owner. You are inheriting all of the workmanship of the contractor prior. So you have to make sure in the negotiation that all of these details are hammered out, that both parties feel comfortable with the risk that they're taking, and then you can move forward with a clear conscience. You can sleep at night, not too scared, understanding the risk that you have, but you're managing that risk appropriately and you're maintaining your margins and you're not being taken advantage of. That is a pro move.